Hello, dear friends all over the world watching us today. Good afternoon to you from Kyiv, Ukraine. You're welcome to the Ask Dr. Sandey show. Well, my name is Anu Ojo, and I want to thank you for joining us today. Well, this is the Ask Dr. Sandey show, and it is a platform where Dr. Sandey answers every question and any question that is thrown at him or asked, maybe personally or people send to him on the comment section or through his blog. And Dr. Sandey tries his best to give answers to every question. So I want to welcome you all once again. Thank you for joining us today. And for those of our friends who are watching on Facebook, I would like to encourage you to please share. You could share this video on your timeline by clicking on the share button, or you could share this video to groups you belong to, or you could suggest this video to your friends on Facebook. And also, if you're watching us on YouTube, you could share this link, the YouTube link, to all of your social media platforms. Well, and I'd like to announce to all of you who are watching us, if you have a question for Dr. Sandey, as you're watching us, there is an opportunity for you to get answers to your question right now. And you could ask your questions by just typing letter Q on the comment section and ask your question. So just type letter Q on both on Facebook and on YouTube. Type letter Q and ask your question. And I will try my best to answer as much as I can. Knowing fully well that we already have a list of questions that we've received earlier, and I will be asking those questions. And also, there's an opportunity for anyone who would like to call in towards the end of the show today. If you have a contribution, if you have a question, please write to us at, just go to Facebook Messenger and search for Move Agents. Move Agents on Facebook Messenger. You search for us and write to us that you have a question or you like to contribute to today's discussion or to any of the question that has been asked, and we will call you back. We will call you back. So I'd like to welcome you all once again to another episode on the Ask Dr. Sandey show. Well, today we have questions that have been asked, and I will be reading the questions to Dr. Sandey, and he will be giving answers to them. So please, if you just join in, please share. Let's invite our friends. Yeah, let's invite our friends and let's get them on board today. And I would also like to announce about the next History Makers training, that's HMT, that will be happening live here in Kyiv, Ukraine. Well, the next HMT is coming up on the 8th to the 12th of April. I repeat, on the 8th to the 12th of April. And guess what? April is not far. April is just next month. And if you are still thinking, should I come or should I not come, I think it's better that you make the decision as quick as possible. Well, you could register for the History Makers training by going to sundayadelajablog.com/HMT. I repeat, sundayadelajablog.com/HMT. Or you could write to us at hmt@godembassy.org. hmt@godembassy.org. And this next HMT, Dr. Sandey will be teaching us on how to build systems for national transformation. Well, if you have a plan, if you want to reach out to thousands of people, maybe through your church, through a ministry, through business, this is the HMT to come for. And I think Kyiv is the way to go. So April 8th to the 12th is the next HMT. Please do well to register and tell your friends, tell people about it. I'm looking forward to it personally. All right, so at this point, I would like to introduce to you Dr. Sandey Adelaja. He will be here answering all of the questions. Actually, he is seated here, and we're going to get the questions rolling very soon. So over to you, Dr. Sandey. Good.
Over to you. I'm waiting for your questions.
Well, I want you to just give a remarks, like a welcome remarks. That's what I mean.
Well, blessings to you all. I'm ready for your questions.
All right, great. So we have some questions already prepared on the PowerPoint presentation, and I would like the questions to be projected so we could start the questions. Now, don't forget, our dear viewers, I have a device here, and I'll try to follow up on your comments. So if you have a question to Dr. Sandey and you would like him to answer the questions during the live show, please feel free to write the question, but please don't forget to type letter Q before you ask your question. All right, so I want to believe the question is ready so we could see it on the screen. All right, so the first question, Dr. Sandey, is what are the root causes to why pastors are cheating? I want to know, and if so, why do they feel like people should be sorry for them? I meant they didn't tell people they were sleeping around before they got caught. Is it that their wives are no longer attractive, or they can't perform well sexually as they grow old? If so, do they need to seek counseling or do exercise to keep up with their man or wife?
That is an very, very interesting question. Well, why do people cheat? Pastors. The question right here is pastors. Why do pastors cheat on their spouses, right? Yeah. Okay, there are a lot of questions for this. There are a lot of reasons for this. Number one reason is because when you are a pastor, I hope my voice, can you hear me very well? Is my voice okay? My voice okay? Okay. Is it okay? Yeah. Okay. So, there's many reasons for this why pastors cheat or commit adultery. The number one reason for this is that when you are a pastor of any church and you are a man, this statistically, between 5 to 25% of your church is in love with you. Between 5 to 25% of that church that is listening to you is in love with you.
I mean women.
Yeah, women. So, for a pastor not to fall into sin, sexual sin or adultery, is more a miracle than for a pastor to fall into adultery.
Repeat that. So it's more a miracle for a pastor
not to
fall than for him to fall.
Yes.
Please, can you continue explaining? Because I think you give some.
So that is because it's like he's walking in a minefield. It's like walking in a minefield. Mm-hmm. You know, minefield is where they put the bombs, the mines in places, and so that is how it is like being a pastor and adultery. It's like walking on a mine's field. And can you imagine if you pastor 1,000 people, and 5% of that woman in that 1,000 out of that 1,000 is in love with you, so it means that you as a pastor have to put a system in place to safeguard yourself, or you have to protect yourself. That is 500 women. So try. That is, and you only have 1,000 members. Or out of no, is it 500? Is it 50? 50. It's 50. If it is. If you have 5% of 1,000 members, that's 50 women.
50 women.
So that's 50 women, and if you have 10,000, that's 500.
If you have 10,000, that is 500.
500, right? So if you have 5,000, if you have 20,000, that is 5,000.
Yeah, that is already like getting 5,000.
5,000 people who are in love with you. So where will you escape? Where will you go to? It's almost impossible. So that's why I say it's more of a miracle for a pastor not to fall into adultery than to fall into adultery. Because, you don't know. You might not know, or you might know, but some people will make you know. Mm. So, so it takes the grace of God. Mm. And it takes not just the grace of God. It takes more than the grace of God not to fall into adultery. It takes the grace of God, and it also takes a lot of discipline, but discipline is not enough. Grace of God is not enough not to fall into adultery when you are a pastor.
So what are the
You need both. You need a lot of things not to fall into. You need discipline, you need the grace of God, you need the grace of God, you need discipline, you need measures, you need boundaries, you need systems, all put in place just to protect you from not falling into adultery.
You know what you're saying now. Maybe you could give and help people to understand.
I will continue. I'm not through.
Yeah,
I'm not through yet.
Yeah, just to just come into what you're saying. I mean, because you know the most rampant scandal with pastors, I mean top pastors, is always associated with adultery and sexual
immorality. Yes.
And you're saying that 5 to 25%.
Yes. Of a church, of any given church.
Of any given church.
Yes.
So
it's falling in love with the pastor.
So imagine all those mega pastors that have.
Yeah. So that's why it's more a miracle not to fall into adultery than to fall into it.
Yeah. Before you continue, I would like you to just explain why though? Why did you come up with why are the women
falling in love with men?
Yeah.
Why do women fall in love?
With their pastors.
With their pastors?
Yes.
Very simple. I will explain.
Okay, please continue.
Those are some of the things I wanted to explain.
Okay. I won't cut you short. I even allow you flow.
So why 5 to 25% of women will fall in love with their pastors? Number one reason, because it could be more than that actually. It could still be more than 25%, but 5%, that is the minimum. Even if you are ugly, even if you are the most terrible pastor, you will still have that 5% fall in love with you. Number one reason is because women love by what they hear. Most women, 90% of women, they love by what they hear. They fall in love to what they hear. It's just like saying for women, for men, we don't know what it means to fall in love by what you hear. We don't know what that means. But let me give you a parallel of what that means. It's like saying what it is for men, because men fall in love not by what they hear, but what they say. So can you imagine now that you are going to a place and where you see all women that are naked all the time, naked women all the time, and you are there before them? It's going to be more of a miracle for you not to fall in love with them or not to commit adultery with them for a man than to commit adultery. It's more natural for you to commit adultery than not to commit adultery. So for women, what you feel when you see women that are naked, what you feel, how you respond to that as a man, it's something parallel. You could think of women that keep on listening to somebody, a man, that is talking exactly what they want to hear, and that is ministering to their needs, because that is what they want to. The women fall in love by their ears. So, for example, imagine a situation whereby women come to church, and they come to church with all these problems, all these challenges in life, and they come to church and they are hearing a man standing before them, telling them exactly those things that bring comfort, that bring solution, that they want to hear. Is for them not to fall in love too, it will take the power of God.
It will be more of a miracle for them not to
fall in love with the pastor
than for them to fall in love.
Yes. So I'm explaining to you the reason. That's number one reason. Number two reason. Most women that you see who come to church, it is one problem or the other that brought them to that church. And most importantly, half of them, at least 50%, maybe 70%, the problem that brought them to that church is connected to their husband.
From experience.
That is, they are unfulfilled in the family one way or the other. So when now they are coming to church and they are seeing a man, just like their husband is a man, that is telling them exactly and performing and saying exactly the very same thing that they were expecting from their husband, that their husband is not able to behave like that. And this man is looking perfect before them, saying exactly what they need. Will it take a miracle? Or it will not take a miracle?
They will easily fall in love.
Of course, it will take a miracle not to fall in love. Are you beginning to understand now?
Yeah.
Why 5 to 25%? And I say it could even be more. So now let's keep on going. Most women are misunderstood by their men and by their husbands, and most women, they don't get to hear enough of kind words, nice words from the people they are living with, because most men don't talk, and most men don't give attention to their wives at all. So the church becomes the place where women, that's why in most churches you see women are more than men.
More women than men.
More women than men. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, yes, I have.
And statistics prove that. Oh.
Yes, yes.
Now you know where I'm coming from. Because that is where that church becomes a place of comfort, a place of...
They find respite.
Yeah, respite for them. So that also is another factor. Next thing is why women like that fall in love is that a lot of those women, especially when it comes to Africa, they are looking for fruits of the womb. And a lot of people will take advantage of that and, propose themselves. So that is another issue. But the most important reason is that most of the people who go to church, they have bad relationship with their husbands, and they are seeing the man of God as an ideal, even though it's not an ideal, because they are not living with him.
But at least the
image they see is an ideal image. That's why they fall in love. Then yet another reason why it's more a miracle not to fall in love or not to commit adultery than is because women that go to church, they have been taught to see the man of God as perfect. And especially when it comes to Africa, men of God themselves sell that image. They project the fact that they are perfect. And at the end of the head of the woman is that this is exactly what I wanted. This is what I want. This is what I want. That is another reason why. Let me give you another reason. Another reason is that as a man and a woman, when you are married as a man and a woman, the man is always doing something to irritate the girl at home, the wife at home. She's always been offended by that man, by some reason, just because they are living together. Because when you are living together, it's one thing when you are dating one another, but when you have been living together for so long, you are already stepping on each other's toes, you are already getting annoyed at each other. So the church becomes the place of comfort and respite. So you don't see your pastor as also somebody he is also doing the same thing to his own wife. But you are seeing him as somebody who would never do that. So any little sign of attention from him is enough to turn any situation, go on.
For the woman.
So when you say, why do pastors fall into adultery? No pastor ever intends to go and fall into adultery or sexual. This is not giving an excuse. But I'm just explaining the nature why these things are, because nobody explains them. People just condemn. This one did this, this one did it, but they don't know why these things happen. And these men that are falling like that, they are not, or that are committing these things, they are not, they are not weak men, no. They are normally the strong guys. All of them are strong. And those are just the ones you know. What about the ones you don't know? It's just because the overwhelming reality of what they have to deal with is too much. There's another reason why men commit the adultery and something is because from the side of the pastor now, a pastor that is living with his wife is treating him like equal, like he sees his weakness. He corrects him, but he goes to church and everybody adores him. So he's more drawn to that person that is adoring him than to the one that is
just treating him as
commonizing him at all. That is another ground there for adultery.
It's really like walking on a minefield.
You see? Then let me continue. Another reason why men will fall into adultery and sexual sin is because most pastors leave home in the morning. And when you leave home in the morning, you go to the office or you go to the church. And when you go to the church, you see your assistants or secretary, they are always ready. They are coming dressed up perfect. So you are always seeing people in church and women in the office perfect all the time. But at home, there is no way your wife, even no matter who she is, even if she is Miss World, can be perfect all the time, because she cannot be wearing what do you call it, the makeup 24 hours, and she cannot be dressed up like and in high heels 24 hours in the house.
Wow.
So you stop saying her. No, even if she was the most beautiful woman in the world, you stop seeing that beauty. So that is, but when you go to outside, that's the only thing you see. You see the beauty, the glamour. So that's another reason why men fall in love. Then next one, pastors fall. Wow. Not because they have evil intentions, just because they cannot. You know, another reason why men fall into adultery and sexual sin is because men fall in love by what they see. And when you are, when you don't even see your husband, your wife, you just see her when you come back, and you see her only either in the kitchen or during the table. You are not seeing her she's not competitive at all compared to what you are seeing in your office
every day.
And some of those people you are seeing in your office or in the church, they are already in love with you. They're already waiting.
Wow.
And your husband, another reason is that your wife, because she's been living with you for so long, she is no more passionate about you. Because it's regular life now, The passion goes after 3 years. So you just live the regular life. But on the other hand, the people who are waiting outside in the office or in the street, in the church, they are always passionate. They are standing on their knees, Pastor, Daddy, Papa. They're already yours. So it's very difficult for a man not to. It's more a miracle not to fall than to fall. And this is not just one person. Daddy, Papa, Daddy, they will not allow you to break the fire. You will be thinking they are already,
Wow.
That's why pastors fall into sin. So you now get where that 5 to 25% is coming from.
Well, most times,
but people don't know this thing.
Yeah.
And until you ask, you even me, we are living together, and if you don't ask us, I'm just...
You won't answer, and you won't say it. Because I know some churches, maybe some churches have an idea of this, but they don't say it.
They don't say it. Because if you say it, they will say, they are afraid that people will say you are defending sin, or you are promoting sin, or you are giving excuse for sin.
So some churches, they would say that before any of their pastor is ordained as a pastor, you must marry. Making it like just to maybe thinking that is a measure.
No, trying to limit
the temptation, but it still doesn't work.
You see all the reasons.
It still doesn't work. I think you really.
And another reason is that when a man is idolized, pastors in Nigeria have been idolized. Not just Nigeria, most places they are idolized. And when you idolize somebody, God himself will make it happen that person's weakness is unveiled and revealed. God himself will, because God must show to you and to that man himself and to everybody that's idolizing him that the treasure that you are seeing is in earthen vessel. And that this is just an earthen vessel. This is nothing. It's nobody. If that it is the glory that you are seeing. So God will make things happen for you to see the earthen vessel of a man. That is just a man. That every man, the best of man is just a man.
He's a man, still a man. Wow.
This is a serious question you're asking today.
I don't know about one of the viewers asked the question.
See, very pregnant question.
Yes, because I think this has to really come out, and I really wish that the hope. I think it's good that people.
I think we should even write the Babosh Olena, instead of this ask that you will have now, ask DSA with Anu Ojo that you have, remove that and put a topic. Why do pastors fall into sexual sins? Or is that the way it's said?
Yeah. Why do pastors? I think that was.
Why do pastors fall into sexual sins? Yeah.
Yeah.
You are saying something.
Yeah, because sexual sin with pastors is like that's like the in thing, and like you said,
what do you mean in thing?
The in thing. I mean the main thing. That's like most rampant as compared to other sins.
Hey, when you say in thing, it's like it's the reigning thing.
When I say reigning thing, I'm talking about reigning based on all of their issues.
The most common.
It's the most common. Yeah, okay. That's what I mean by reigning thing. Yeah,
it's not the most common sin. No. It's just the one that people mostly respond to.
Okay.
There is something that people have about sex. You can do any other sin, people don't care. There are many other weaknesses that pastors demonstrate. The people don't make noise about those things. It is the sex that people make noise about. And when people condemn pastors, that how can he do it? He's a pastor. Why could he do that? How? But you have a wife now. Because they don't know what he's walking through. Because they have not been to his shoes. They have not been to his place. They have not been to a place whereby you cannot breathe even.
I saw a comment on Facebook recently and it just came to my mind. And the person said that how come that Jesus and his disciples, how did they escape sex scandal?
But the Bible said it. That even Jesus was tempted in all things. Even Jesus. Can you believe it?
So you have to fit.
And if Bible said that he was tempted in all things, I don't think Bible lie. That includes sexual temptations. Even Jesus. So God is very frank. God is very open. God will even tell us that. Now, he didn't tell us stories of disciples or things like that, but this is the reality. That even Jesus was tempted in us. So for you to come out as a pastor and be playing heroism or righteousness or holiness and say, no, I never get tempted like that. If anybody tells you that and is a pastor, he's just lying to you. He's not sincere. He's just playing you. He's just setting you up for failure. Because if he's not telling you the truth, he's creating an impression that is infallible. And if you believe that, when you now begin to have your own challenges, you'll be wondering, but this is my pastor now. He doesn't ever have these challenges. Yeah. So why is it that it's me? No. Because it's not true. He built you on lies. And that is another problem in Africa. They make people to think that they are perfect. So, but when those things now happen, people begin to say, ow. So this is one of the reasons why God himself will allow these things to happen, so that we will not be put people, pastors, on a pedestal, so that we will not be looking up to them as idols, so that we will know that they are just men as well. And they are strong men. Let me tell you another reason why it is a miracle for a man or a man of God or a pastor not to fall into sin with this kind of system of church that we're having. That's why I'm doing a series now on the church, how the church should be built differently so that those things will be limited or to be eradicated. But the way church is being built with hierarchy right now, it's going to be a miracle for a pastor not to fall into sexual sin. So another reason is because you'll see that most pastors that fall into these sexual sins you will notice that they don't fall in the first year of their pastoring. They don't even fall in their second year or the third year or fourth year. Maybe they do sometimes, but most times it's when they're already big. Yeah. You know why? Because I told you about the mind field.
The mind field, yeah.
That you have all this attention, all these things. So the normal tendency for a man is that you are resisting it. You are doing your best. You are running away. But how long can you fight? It's just like youth now. It's not for anybody. There will be moments where You just want to relax, or you are what vulnerable. It is normal. There is no way you can be in the spirit 100% 24 hours. It's not going to be possible.
That's true.
Because you are still walking in the flesh. So why is it that they don't fall in the beginning? So when you see those people who are high there and they fall, know that they have fought so many battles.
Kai.
You know that how many, even ordinary men who are not pastors, they are in a year, every man has 1 million sexual suggestions. Either by what they see in the street, by the internet, 1 million. That is how many a day? 300 temptations a day. 300 and something, 330 something temptations a day. So by the time it's coming so much, that it's out of those 300, it's almost impossible. Just like your thoughts.
It's true.
There are thoughts that are negative, that are bad, that you know they are bad. And you resist, but there are some of them you fall into.
That's true.
That is why God knows that we are in. That's why when people tell you about being perfect, being holy, and they're just deceiving themselves, they're deceiving you too. Because our holiness is in Christ Jesus, only by grace. Only in Christ Jesus. But by your own effort, even in the Old Testament, nobody could make it now. And nobody can make it too in this own by law, by living by their own efforts and their own works.
Even the best boxers who know how to dodge everything, there's no way they won't get one.
Yeah. There is one they call Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
He's the master of defense, the best defensive fighter in the world. But you see blood still coming out.
You still hit him.
Every general, if it's a general that's in the battle, has a scar. There is no way you will not have a scar unless you didn't go to the battlefield. The only way that you will not have a scar is for you not to go, not to appear on the battlefield.
Not to show up at all.
Don't show up. If you show up, they say we are only show.
Wow.
In as one in a Facebook, in a YouTube, that person. It will highly show.
And I think also some, because I think I've heard Miles Burrow say something like this too in this line, but he didn't go as explicit as this. And he was saying something about why he travels everywhere with his wife.
Yes, because you cannot trust yourself. No matter how good you are, you need a system in place.
So that can be a system.
That's a system, protective system. It's not possible for you to, you cannot depend on you don't know what will happen to you at the end. Some people even who don't fall into sexual sins, some of them fall into pornography, some of them fall into different fantasies, different things happen. So when people like Pastor Kumuyi married a year after the wife died, people were saying, how can he do it? But it's a holiness preacher. You are the one asking those questions. Me, I don't ask. Holiness for no holiness.
The man knows, he knows what he says.
As long as it's a human being and it's a man.
You understand?
You better close your eyes and leave the man alone.
Wow.
It's different when you are not married. When you have never been married, when you have never been active sexually, you know, most of those people that you people are saying they are falling now, before they were pastors and they were married, they didn't have any problem. But when you are already, when the system of your body is already used to it, and then you are having all these minds, that's why people fall.
But I've seen people use the words of Apostle Paul when he was talking about I was about to open the scripture where he was giving the prerequisites of a bishop, and I think one of them has to do with being, I don't know if the word is being sexually pure or something like that, but something along that line. Maybe
he said it should be a husband of one
wife, and it should be blameless and all of that.
Blameless, yes.
But was Paul really realistic?
He didn't say sex. He didn't say sex.
But if you're saying about being blameless,
yes, in what? Why should you relate that to only sex?
No, I'm not relating to sex.
Okay.
So I'm relating that now to, what you said earlier is that even the man of God, the strongest is still a man.
Yeah.
He's still human, and he will still fall into not just sex but different kind of these things. So, but when Apostle Paul says you should be blameless, what's Apostle Paul trying to say? It
means that you shouldn't be somebody that people can hold accusations against. So you are not living a frivolous life. You are not living a life. Anybody can. It's not saying that you will never make a mistake. Like himself, if you look at the life of Apostle Paul, you know, he had to apologize to the high priest at a point because he couldn't hold it. When they were abusing him and talking him down, he said, rebuke you. The Lord rebuke you. And you couldn't say that to the high priest. So when he discovered that, he had to apologize. And a lot of others, everybody like Peter as well, he has to be corrected. That is not what he's talking about.
Okay. So to be blameless there is not talking about...
He's talking about not living a lifestyle whereby people could just, okay, for example, you are a pastor, you have been drunk. You are not blameless. You are a pastor, you are beating your wife, or you are doing something, you know, that is just saying, don't do things that will make people to stumble, basically. That's what it's talking about.
Okay, because
if you take it literally, nobody can be blameless.
Yeah. Because if they
even Jesus, when they told him that, good Lord, he said, no, I'm not good. Nobody can be good. Jesus himself said that.
That even I am not good.
Yeah, he said, no, don't say it's God only. That's
good. Wow. So much light, so much understanding about this issue. So you made a list of some things that pastors can do or they need to be able to...
No, let's go back to the question first, because I don't think I finished the question.
Well, let's go back to the question. Wow, so interesting how this show became. Why the pastors fall into sexual sins. All right, let me read the question again. What are the root causes to why pastors are cheating? I think you answered that. I answered
that. I think I used almost 30 minutes or 40 minutes to answer that.
All right. So I want to know why, and if so, I want to know.
Okay.
Good. So I want to know, and if so, why do they feel like people should be sorry for them? I meant they tell people that they didn't tell people they were sleeping around before they got caught. So that's one question.
So that's one question. Okay.
Yes. So should I continue with the next question?
Yeah.
Is it that their wives are no longer attractive?
Okay.
They can't perform well sexually as they grow old.
The wives cannot perform
sexually. The wives, okay. Yeah. If so, do they need to seek counseling or counselors, or do they need exercise to keep up with their man or wife?
Oh, no. Those are, you know, let me start with the later question. I'll start from the bottom up. So, you know, these other questions that come up later on, these last three questions, those are the normal stereotypes that people have about couples that are having sexual challenges, that are having sexual immorality or adultery. People come up with these kind of stories. And this is horrible with these kind of questions. To say that a man cheats or is cheated it is because the wife is no more attractive. That's not a correct question. Then secondly, to say that a man cheated because the woman needs to go to gym and go and be doing exercise and work out, and because she's not working out, put the blame on the wife, it's also not fair. Then the third thing that is there is that she's not sexually active. To say that because a woman is not sexually active, that's why the husband cheats, also very, very wrong. So these are things that you don't want to go into. First of all, is it because she's no more attractive or she's no more beautiful? And every woman, you know, tries her best, especially when they are pastors' wives. Believe me, if you see pastors' wives, most pastors' wives always try to look their best. Most of them try to look their best. So it's not because a pastor's wife is not attractive or she's not beautiful or she's not dressing well, that's why the husband cheated or something like that. No. First of all, it doesn't really matter. Remember this. There's a principle that says this. Whatsoever you keep on seeing all the time, you stop saying eventually. I don't know if you get it. Whatever you keep on saying ceases to be visible to you. It's a diminishing effect.
Law of diminishing returns.
Huh?
Yeah.
Law of diminishing returns.
Yeah.
So it's part of the law of diminishing returns. Whatsoever you keep on saying, you stop saying. Is also related to familiarity brings contempt. Yeah. It's the same law. So even if you are married to the most beautiful wife in the world and she's still always beautiful every day, because you are living with her every day, day in, day out, you stop seeing her. It will take extra discipline and extra training to keep on seeing. And even then, you will still not see her like you saw her the first time you just married her. Because that is the law. So for you to say that, that's why we call something that emotions, the emotions will wind away. So when you are seeing somebody that you are married to, even though she's still attractive, but she will be attractive to you who is seeing her for the first time or who doesn't live with her, than to the man who is living with her, no matter how beautiful she is. That is why we don't marry people because of the physical look. And because if you are going to marry somebody just because of the physical look, a day is coming you are no more going to be seeing those physical looks again. You must marry because of something deeper than physical look. You must marry because of values and the content of character you see in the woman. That is what doesn't change. But the body, things will change. And especially when women get pregnant and they have children, and once they begin to have children, she will never return to what you saw when you married. It's a different person you just married right now. You are saying now. She would not know. If women try their best, they will go to gym, they will lose weight, they will even become slimmer but it's only going to be worse than they were, because that's just nature. And then she's getting older. And you just need to accept the person, not the body. Also, there are also other children growing up. So when you met her, she was 19. Now she is 30 or she's 40. But 19, there are people becoming 19 every day.
Having the same
features that you fell in love with. And that was what you liked. So that's why marriage should go beyond just physical features. So to say, is it because she's no more attractive? It's not fair. It doesn't matter how attractive she is. The law of diminishing returns will wipe that out. And then if you deceive her and say that, it's because she's not working out, let her go and be working out. You are not being sincere and you are not being realistic. She can work out as she wants, but you are seeing somebody who is natural 19 every day passing by your road, or especially when you are a church member. They are there following and saying, yes sir, yeah papa, mama, papa, my daddy, all kind of things, just offering themselves up to you. So you need to have more anchor and more system of protection and securing yourself than just looking to say it is the beauty of your wife that is going to keep you. But eventually it is the fear of God also. But like I said, fear of God alone is not enough. You need system in place to safeguard you.
I listened to one of your message. It's old, but you were talking about the importance of having the fear of God. And you brought the story of one great man of God. I can't remember his name, but he had issues sleeping with women in his church. And in his book, when they asked him that, what happened? Well, you're a man of God, and he said that, yes, I thought I loved God, and I thought I loved him, but I noticed that I didn't have the fear of God.
I love God, but no fear of
God. I didn't have the fear of God. And that was, for me, that was quite convicting to me. But even going further than that, with what you're saying,
because there are a lot of people that have the fear of God, but they still fall into sexual sin because they didn't build those boundaries and safeguards.
But pastors taught these things, though.
Pastors?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Because I think
I teach my pastors.
You teach them,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I teach my pastors.
Because I think it's good. Because I think for me, it's good.
But I don't hear anybody. I've never heard anyone.
I think it's just because pastors don't want to be truthful.
Because they want to be supermen.
Yeah, they don't want to be truthful.
They want to be supermen.
Because if what I'm just thinking is that maybe we'll give.
For example, one time, somebody asked me a question about Johnson Suleiman when he had the Otobo scandal.
Yes.
And I said, don't crucify him. Kill him. It's just God just wants you to know that he's a man that falls into. So the way, if you see the comments there, it's because you are the same thing. Yeah. It's all of you are. because ignorance. People don't know what these people.
Yeah,
I said, stay with him. If you see other qualities, you know in him that what attracted him to him in the first place. Is it because he's not sleeping with anybody? You don't know. Maybe he was doing it that time too. But what are the qualities you say? If you see that he's a man of God, he's a man of truth, follow principles. Because actions will be different. Anything could, the ones you are following now, maybe he's doing the same thing. You don't know. You have to be. So don't judge people just because of their personal frailties or lives or weaknesses. Look at the principles they follow. Look at the truth in their lives. Look at and then hold on to that. That's what the Bible says. That look at the people who have gone before you, your teachers, and follow their faith. Not themselves, not their practices or their lifestyle, but what is it?
Not their acts.
Not their acts, but their faith. And follow their faith. That is what we are supposed to do in Christianity. Their faith, their truth, their walk with God. Not anything could happen. Like with Abraham, things could happen in terms of acts or behavior and works, but God said we should follow his faith because he's a father of faith. Like Noah, for example, anything could happen. He got drunk and things like that. But the Bible says is an example of faith. When you see the chapter 11 of Hebrews, it's a part of. So when you look at David, when you look at Solomon, when you look at all these people have issues in behavior. That is it's lesson to all of us that things will happen in your life, in anybody's life. But that is not, God is looking deeper to the heart of people than to their actions. Actions could be different, but follow their faith. Same with Jesus. Jesus took a whip and started whipping people. If you do it today, you say, you will never be my pastor. I cannot follow that pastor. Many people will not follow Jesus if you look at the actor. Because you will not follow a pastor that goes and beat people up. How many people can follow that kind of pastor? You can't. But if you look at the heart of Jesus, what was after his faith, then he deserves to be followed.
What you're explaining, for me, it makes sense to me. But it's very difficult for religious folks to grasp it.
But anybody that this is difficult to grasp it's not because they are religious; it's because they are hypocrites.
I was going to say that.
Because they themselves
know
they are struggling with their own situations. But they are only trying to say, well, I didn't do that kind of sin. I didn't do. But, what do I say? You cannot judge somebody because you are not sinning the form of sin that the person is sinning. Because you have your own form of sin too.
You know what you're battling with.
Yeah. So you cannot judge somebody that is sinning not your own type of sin.
And that's just the way Jesus Christ said it was remove the log in your own eye before you remove the speck in another person's eye. And what that means is that everybody has something.
Everybody has something. And that's why we don't criticize personal lives, individual lives of people. We don't, because it's their work before God. That's what Jesus was trying to do with the woman that was caught in adultery.
Yes.
If any one of you is without something, but when it comes to doctrine, we have to challenge it. And judge. He said you should judge. He said you should expose it, but not this kind of. These are personal issues with people's lives. Well, unless it is in the church that it has become common knowledge in church, then you have to address it and either go and talk to the person, and if he doesn't listen, take it to the brethren. If not, then take it to the church, or if not, take him out of the church. There is an order for that.
Amazing. I don't know if we could give opportunity for people to
we should. With this kind of thing, I'm sure many people want to call. The people who are against, who are for.
Yeah, we are ready to receive everybody. Okay, for our viewers, thank you for being with us. I'm sorry I've not even said.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry I've not said some things to you during the course. It has been a very interesting conversation. I think it's a conversation that needs to be held everywhere, because these are the truths that many people are not willing to share. But if you like to share your contribution, if you have a question, please go to Facebook Messenger, search for Move Agents, and tell us that you would like to call in, and we will call you. We will call you. All right. So, Dr. Son,
let's go back to the question that are there. Yeah. To that question. Maybe I just want to make sure I address
everything.
Everything. Yeah. While we are looking for the call, while we're waiting for the call. Yeah.
All right. So, this is a continuation of the question. Okay. So
what about the first part?
The first part. Let's say
let's start from the first part.
Previous
of the question.
The first one, and then we'll continue with this.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
So let me read from the beginning. Okay.
Yes, yes.
So what are the root causes to why pastors are cheating? Answered. I want to know. And if so, why do they feel like people should feel sorry for them? I meant they didn't tell people they were sleeping around.
Okay, I didn't answer this one.
About them
Feeling sorry for them.
Yeah.
So why do they, come out making people feel sorry for them? It's because of ego. Number one, they love themselves and they know they are not bad in their own hearts. And they might also be trying to tell you that they didn't intend to just this thing. They don't, but you might not know how to explain it.
So explain it.
So they wanted to just, by making you feel sorry for them, they're just trying to tell you, don't discard them altogether.
They are not like evil.
They are not like evil the way it appears. That's what they're trying to say. And another reason why they try to look for sympathy of people is because they don't want to lose their ministries. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a caller. Nictoni Pisal.
Okay, so if you, like I said earlier, if you want to contribute, please.
No, let's keep on reading the questions.
Yeah, okay, let's see the next question.
Yes. We'll still continue reading.
The other part. No.
The question.
The same question, the same one. Yeah, Tosam.
Yeah.
All right. So I want to know, and if so, why do they feel like people should feel sorry for them? I mean, they didn't tell people they were sleeping around before they got caught.
Do you tell people? Do you go ahead telling people that you are sinning or you are sleeping around yourself? It's silly. Anybody that is sinning, that is the nature of sin. Sin hides from light.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it also brings shame, so you don't
Yes,
want to
yes.
you don't want to share it.
You rather tell God.
Yeah, you rather tell God. So is it that their wives are no longer attractive? You answered that.
Okay.
They can't, or is that they can't perform well sexually as they grow old?
No.
If so, do they need to seek counselors or do exercise to keep up with their man or wife?
We already answered that.
Yeah. So let's continue with the next one.
Okay.
Next
page.
Okay, so if someone does that, should they step down from ministry?
Okay.
And how long?
Okay.
What are the ways they should approach the congregation? Because some just tend to blame the congregation and say, well, I'm going through a lot. You guys don't pray for me. And they play the victim, etc. And they guilt trip the entire church into believing they are sorry. And they go on preaching the next Sunday as though nothing ever happened.
Yeah, first of all, that is a wrong reaction, to whatever has happened, to be blaming somebody else. Either blame your wife or blame the girl or the victim that happened to, or blame the congregation. It's all a sign of cowardice or cowardness or weakness. It's the wrong thing to do. Now, should they step down? It depends on different church administration and church management. Sometimes it will be necessary to step down. Sometimes it's not. Because, okay, this person has been doing, you want him to step down. Let's say this person has been doing this same for the past 5 years or 10 years, and he's been preaching to you, you didn't tell him to step down. Now that he's caught, and he has stopped, because he's caught, so he's exposed, he stopped. That is when you are now saying to God that it's a little bit late. He should have stepped down when he's doing the thing, but that is when you are celebrating him and
you're saying pastor, you're blessing.
Yeah, it depends on the situation, and maybe it depends on the pastor too. You might need to talk to the pastor to see his state. If he's still in that, and he's seeing that he's weak, he's beaten, he can't, then he should step down. But normally when people are caught, that is when they stop. That is when they are more fit to use their experience and their pain to teach. Mm-hmm. But when they were doing the whole thing proper, that's when you are celebrating. You are saying, and now, so it's a hypocrisy both ways.
Wow. Well,
did we go through the
question?
I think we finished there.
Yeah, I think so. But let's just see.
Any call? Do we have any caller?
All right. So if someone, I think we've done that.
we have callers. Yeah,
Okay.
we have done this.
Go on preaching the
It's
next
running
Sunday.
for just.
As though nothing happened. I think.
Yeah, you know, it's relative. It's relative, and it should be.
Wow.
Okay.
Let's have the callers. I think this is it. Yeah, it's a great. I think it's a very interesting conversation, Pastor. This topic, and it's just one question. I never even knew that it was going to be like this. But
it's a very comprehensive.
Very comprehensive. Why do pastors fall into sexual sins? Yeah. I don't know if anyone has really explained it the way you have. But it's coming from a pastor, though.
Yeah, because you know me that when I undo any situation, I try to be thorough with it. So maybe people have been explaining, we might not know. But, you know, it might not be quite the way I've explained it.
You explained it.
Yeah, but, you know, I try to be thorough with everything.
And to seek understanding.
And I didn't even know you were coming with this question today.
Definitely.
I didn't know it would come up today. I was thinking, you know, when you are even asking all the questions, I was saying, this guy doesn't know that this kind of question, if I begin to answer, it will not be enough. The whole 1 hour.
It's true. We use 1 hour to talk about it.
1 hour will not be enough.
Wow.
But what's your own feeling towards the response and answer? Because you are a young man, you are not yet married, you are not pastor in the church right now. What will you have to say?
Well, I think first. Huh? Yes. Okay. We have a caller already.
Hello. Do we have a caller there? Television exclusion. Hello.
Proper.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think this is something that for me, people need to be aware of. I'm talking about both pastors and the congregation. Yeah, because at least the knowledge and the understanding is going to help a great deal. It will help the pastor himself to not leave
doors open.
Yeah, to not leave doors open and not to present himself as superhuman, like the way many pastors in Nigeria. Not to idolize himself. And also on the part of the congregation, for them to also know what pastor is going through. For example, look at what you said about the reason why many women come to church, because they are disillusioned or they have problems with their husbands. If husbands know this, husbands too, they need to learn how to.
You have a caller now? Okay.
Yes.
Hello? Television exclusion. Hello?
Maybe we need to increase the volume there about.
Hello?
We can't hear. So as I was saying, husbands. So if husbands know this, then husbands too. The husbands in the church, so they need to learn how to honor their wives, treat them well, so that their wives won't be looking at pastor's side at least. So at least it will help. Everybody will have to play a role. The pastor, the congregation, the PAs, everybody will know that, okay, this is true. Let's know how to deal with the case on ground. And I think it will help.
Yeah, but does it change your own view or understanding of the question of this problem, or how you are looking at it? Or
I've actually asked this question before.
Okay.
Yeah, but I didn't ask in this light.
Okay.
But this person asked more explicitly, and you gave me some answers during one of our walks. And that helped me. But I think today it's further increased my understanding of the whole.
I think we have a caller.
Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon.
This sounds like.
Noeline.
Yeah. Good afternoon.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Nice to hear from you today.
Thank you very much. Thank you for all your answers. But my only concern is, if a pastor is just allowed to continue as usual because he just repented and we didn't know when he was doing it, it's just like catching a criminal. Maybe somebody who went to bank and robbed the bank, and you said, oh, now he's caught. We don't need to send him to prison because he has already been caught. I believe there must be consequence for what he's doing. But my own concern is, while he's doing all that, he's still condemning people. He's still praying and doing whatever he thought he's doing spiritually. So it's just a question of how do people still stay in the church and trust him for whatever he wants to say from them going forward? Because all the while you've been lying to them, and then you are pretending everything is okay, and now you are caught. You want to just throw everything at me, I will take it, and then let's continue. It doesn't really make sense to me, to be honest. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, there are some times when what the right thing to do would be to maybe step down or do something, but you have to look at the situation. You have to even talk to the person. It depends on a lot of things. You have to even talk to the congregation. Sometimes the congregation wants him to stay. Sometimes the congregation says, no, stay, talk to us. We want you to stay. We don't want you to go.
Yeah. And I think that's what you said earlier. I don't think you said this is what needs to be done. I think you said it depends on the situation, and there are many factors that need to be considered for what will happen next. But the truth about it is that there's definitely always consequence to every action.
That even if he doesn't step down, there's still consequences.
There's still consequences.
Yeah. Either he likes it or not.
Yes. So
he will still have consequences.
Yeah.
But the question I would like us to look at in what she said is, because it's like a robber that is caught, that went to rob a bank and is caught, and you said don't send him to jail. What do you look at? How do you see that parallel? Is that a fair parallel?
No,
or not?
Even if you didn't even say fair parallel or not, I was going to say it's unfair. Yeah, because if one listens to all of the things that you explained, speaking of the minefield, speaking of the person who has been fighting 500 battles and
every day 300
every day 300, and you're fighting and you're fighting and you're fighting, and you got hit one time. I think comparing that person to a thief who steals to make ends meet, and there is no sign that the person has been fighting all of these stuffs, I think it's not a fair parallel. That's on one side. And then number two is that using some of the things that you've also explained as to where this is not the man that necessarily wants to do it. There's one thing where a thief is going to steal because he wants to meet his own need and wants to. But here is a man of God, believable, or let's just believe that this man of God, this is not him looking for who to sleep with. We know that there are maybe some that are looking for who to devour. But let's take an example of a man who is not seeking for someone to sleep with, but who became vulnerable and then he fell. So that person, sending that person to jail, like a thief that goes to jail, I think is not a fair parallel.
Well, it's a very complicated situation, because what she was saying is that, will you trust the person to now teach? Because a trust has been broken, which is true. Trust has been broken.
Yes.
That is the question. But
you already explained, if I understood, you already gave answer to this, that I think the first thing that needs to be addressed is we must learn not to trust human flesh. That's the first thing we must learn.
Our trust should be in God.
Our trust should always be in God. That's number one. And we must all agree that...
And we should also learn not to idolize men.
Idolize men. So I think if that is settled first, then we understand that I'm following you not because because of you. I'm listening to you not because I'm thinking that you are perfect.
I'm following the faith and
the truth that you preach.
Coming from.
You understand? So now, because I know I'm following the truth that you're preaching, if you fall, then I get to decide if I still want to follow you. You understand? Knowing that I know I can still get truth from you, knowing that I can still get your principles, but it becomes now my decision.
My own decision.
That, okay, I don't think I can deal with it.
Yeah.
So this is not because the pastor is a man of God and can't fall, but now it's where everybody has the right. We must give everybody the choice to say, pastor, you fail, and I think for me, with my own heart, with my own truth, I think I can't stand listening to you knowing all of this, and I would like to move to. And then the pastor should also be free to tell the members that if you can't, please do well to go. I don't know if you get my point, but I think the basis has to be that we must not follow, we must not trust man, we must not idolize people, but our faith will always be in God and learn from people, learn from their truths. I don't know if you have a call.
A lot of things. Yes, it shows on Zwanke. The approval.
Yeah, you're about to say
going to try to call. Yeah, there are a lot of things to be said about that. If I begin to address that particular issue that she raised, it's going to be so long because there are so many. You see, that's what happens, especially women. You know, you could see from one side, but there are so many angles. It's like a diamond. Brilliant. I mean, yeah, it's a diamond. You see different angles to this. For example, I had a situation in my church whereby a couple came to me that the husband was having an affair. So the two of them are very dedicated members of the church, husband and wife, leaders. So the wife is a leader, the husband is a leader. And she said he's having an affair. He came to confess to her that he's having an affair. So she was so broken. She was saying, I cannot forgive him. I cannot forgive him. I cannot forgive him. Is this, is that? How could he do it? How could he? How could he? So as I was meeting with them, I've met with them over a period of time, like for 3 months. 3 months, and she would still say, everybody has begged her. She would say, no, I will not forgive him. I cannot forgive him. How could he do it? She chased him away from the house. But one day, as I was meeting with her again and talking to her, I saw a word of knowledge, a vision like that. I saw that she was having an affair too.
Oops.
Even before him. I saw a picture of everything I saw, like a film. I told her. She said, Pastor, how do you know? I said, well, you say I'm a pastor. So when I told her that, she said, yes, it's true. Because I said, who is this man? I gave her she said it's true. So I said, in fact, I was shocked.
Wow.
I expected her to say, no, it's not. He said, it's true. I said, how can a caller? Okay, we have a caller.
Yes.
Hello.
Good morning, dear. Say Charles calling from Canada.
Good morning, Charles. How are you doing today?
I'm doing excellent. Dr. Adelaj, how are you doing?
Well,
is it you that was trying to call we couldn't get through to?
No.
No. Okay. Yep.
All
always interesting to hear your own side of the story.
Yeah, this is an interesting discourse this morning. And
can you speak louder? We didn't hear what you said earlier.
I said it's an interesting discourse this morning.
Okay.
Question. And I love the way you've answered it explicitly. And to be honest, to openly confess, I never really agreed completely with just following only the principles and nothing about the man.
Yes.
But this morning, I think I align more towards following only the principles and not the man.
Yeah.
And reason being that if I saw, we know the man in Notre Dame slapped a girl. People still castigate him for that today. But our Jesus took a whip.
Wow.
And beat someone. That line really struck a chord with me, and we must be mindful of that.
But what about the fact that Jesus also told the men, the Pharisees, I said, you take a stone now, make you throw him.
Yes. So he tried to draw a serious parallel for us about things. Yet they also called him a drunkard.
Wow.
If he wasn't drinking, they wouldn't call Jesus a drunkard. And if you say it's false accusation, then any man of God can say it's false accusation. So let us come off the illusion. That's number one. When we look at Paul writing to Timothy in 1 Timothy chapter 3, and he says, anyone that desires to be a church leader must be the husband of one wife.
Yes.
Why did he specify that? That means there were men around them that had more than one wife.
Yeah, that's true.
But he said, if you want to be, only have one, because it is easier for you to manage people
Right.
with one wife than when you have multiple people.
Right,
wives.
right.
Also, when we look at the question that our sister said about a robber, that was a very serious parallel. But if she would allow me to twist her parallel a little bit, the pastor would have been a robber if he had gone to rape someone.
Okay. Or pedophile.
Yes, and he must be nailed to the cross.
Yes.
But if he had had a girlfriend, a side chick, whatever they call it, that is not a robber, because it is something he's doing voluntarily with someone, not taking it by force. So, like the pastor in South Africa being in court right now because of he is being accused as a robber and is facing the court of law like a robber.
Which pastor?
He's a Nigerian pastor in South Africa. I can't remember his name now.
Okay.
Some young girls said he raped them when they were
Omotosho.
Yes. So that is an example of a robber.
That is profound. Very profound.
Yeah. So, but this one that had a mature girlfriend and they are having whatever they are having together cannot be paralleled as a robber. And one of the things which you said earlier is the time you was doing it, you were shouting, Papa, now you know you are just coming out of your delusion. In fact, it doesn't even. It is that time you were shouting Papa, Papa that it was insane, that he could have been transferring a wrong spirit to you. But now that he's exposed, he's been humbled before God.
Yeah.
So these are things that we must look at from the perspective of a believer. The time you were hailing the man. See, many of the big celebrated men of God, we have not had scandals in our own recent times, not because it didn't happen long ago.
Yeah.
And many of them put measures around today that they travel always with their wives.
Yeah.
Just to prevent anything.
Yeah.
And most of them are now advancing age. As you grow older, even no matter what happens to you, you are losing some interest in sex.
Yeah.
So people should come off those delusions that, I've not had this from my papa. It's because you didn't hear.
You don't know. You don't know yet.
People that knew, they know. So the last thing I want to say, Dr. Sandei, is would this parallel or the heavy schedule of the man of God be the reason why some pastors' wives also find themselves in the hands of
older men,
a younger guy that can ride them roughly?
You gave the answer to your question, sir.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you very much.
Wow, wisdom.
Yeah,
a lot of wisdom there.
Great. You know, I read the book God's General, and with that book God's General, you see that the writer gave a lot of examples of how men of God were also men, anyways.
Yeah.
And I mean, what Pastor Charles Adeliji just shared, I think he made some very, very good points.
Salient points.
Yeah, very, very, very good points.
I think we have another call.
Please, let's bring it on. Remember, I was having a program.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes, can you put off your...
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, my sister. I think you need to put off your sound over there. Is it off the...
I already put off my...
Good.
My laptop.
Good.
Yes, good morning, sir.
Good morning,
Dr. Anu. Good morning, TSA. And good morning, everybody.
It's like a familiar voice. Who is calling from where?
Yes, I call sometimes. This is Emanuela Solomon.
Okay, Emanuela from California. Okay.
Yes. I think I'm so grateful for all your teachings regarding marriages and sex and so on, because many people, we are not taught. Yeah. They taught us English, mathematics, biology, physics in school. Nobody taught anybody really, especially in Africa, about sex or marriage.
That's true.
So people just go as they would like, and when they enter into it, some make mistakes, some sail through. But with this teaching now, a lot of people, if they will listen, especially before they get married,
and especially for your series that you did regarding family, people will think twice and they will know what they are doing. Yes, many people don't like to talk about sex and money. They only listen to what their pastor said. Like there was one pastor that said, "It's God that told me to baptize you with sex." And I don't know how they can be that stupid and obey that kind of command. But when we can listen to truths like this, it's so easy to be able to now see lies and say, "No, I'm not doing that." Yeah. This is a very significant thing you are doing for us. A lot of people went married. If you don't know why you are doing something, you just do it anyhow. If you don't know the value of a woman, you abuse that woman. So a lot of mistakes had happened. But I was reading a book and it says, if you are fighting a battle of like you have problem with promiscuity, he said, just say, make an oath with God and say, if I have sex outside wedlock, let me die. And if I smoke, the next cigarette, if you are battling with cigarette smoking, say, if I smoke again, let CL, cancer of the lung, kill me. And so that helps me, for example, regarding men, because I've been single long time ago. I just said that, but now that you're explaining, I know it was a system in place.
Yeah.
I made that with God, as long as I'm unmarried. If any man climb on me, let me die.
Yeah.
And that thing worked for me because I didn't know any better. That's what the pastor book I was reading told us to do, to make an oath like that with God. So now that you are saying it, I know it's a system in place. And then after many years that I've put that system in place, I now became a pastor and I'm still single. And so all those things never come to me at all because I don't know. So now I understand it a little bit better. I just want to say I'm very grateful. You've taught me so many things, too many things, that if it was not for you, I'll still be ignorant. And ignorance is not an excuse.
Wow.
God bless you,
Beautiful. Sister
Yes.
Solomon? Emanuela. Thank you so very much. Thank you. Blessings.
Thank you,
Look, can you show the book, Living Sexually Free and Overcoming Masturbation? Because those books will really help people in dealing with this particular topic. Because we didn't even know this is the way it was going to go. We have put the book.
Same here. Because she asked me.
Living Sexually Free and Masturbation. You were saying something before. You want to say something?
Yeah, I'm just thinking about these things that you talk about that we don't hear anywhere. You know, you're really a blessing to the world, though, because imagine what we just talked about, and I'm saying that because I have that appreciation in my heart, and just hearing Mrs. Emanuela also give that appreciation that nobody teaches on this thing. Nobody, I mean, people can touch a different aspect, but nobody really comes out to say, so this is it, and gives a very elaborate explanation about it. And you know, the funny thing about it is that these things are happening right
before our eyes.
Before our eyes. People are constantly struggling about it.
And they don't know how to stop it.
Yeah, we don't know how to stop it.
But let me tell you the most important way to stop it is that we need to revisit the way church is built these days. We need to stop the hierarchy of church. We need to stop seeing church. This is the way church has been done in the past 500 years. That we have one pastor who is the hero, who is the senior pastor. So that superstars and stardom, you know, status will always lead to these kind of things. And another thing is, you know, we need to begin to have pastors as a team work, as teams, like in the church in Jerusalem. If you look at the church in Jerusalem, you will not be able to pinpoint and say, this is the pastor. Is it Peter? Is it James? Is it Andrew? It's difficult to know because it was a collegial kind of teamwork, leadership. That is the kind of leadership we need to restore to church now. That one-man show thing will always lead to this kind of catastrophes.
That's true.
So that's what I'm teaching now.
How to know God through
how to know God through the church.
I'm following it, and
Hierarchy needs to be dismantled. I don't know what you.
Yes, I've been following the series because you said it during the show that it's something that one has to watch out for, and you were saying it's
That
going
series.
to be, the series on how to know God through church. I've been following it.
I said it was going to be.
That it's going to be scandalous. Yes, and I've been following it, and what you said is actually true, because it's like you're just going straight heads on the way the church has been for this long, for 500 years, and you are just turning it upside down and using videos and bringing in scriptures, illustrations to really depict that this is, as we were talking about hierarchy, I remember the video that you played, and I could see the picture of the members and the video of somebody going higher, the pyramid to everything. So it's, truthfully, we need to really rebuild the church, like destroy what has been there and rebuild, revisit it. Yeah, because you said the one-man show thing, where it is only one man of God who is teaching every day. Obviously, he's the one that people are going to be hearing every time. The women will be hearing, and he will be the one that they are going to idolize, and he will always fall.
Yeah, because once you idolize, that's the end.
Yes, he would always fall, and yeah, we need to really address it. We need to address it.
Another thing that I think we need to address is this thing we call fall. It's a popular cliche in Christianity. Oh, that man has fallen. Oh, he has fallen. But when you really think about it as a Homo sapiens and as a personality, that is a very wrong use of word. Because let's say you commit sexual immorality now. So I say you have fallen. Why is it that I say you have fallen? Just because of sexual immorality?
I will explain.
No, but I'm going to finish my statement.
Yeah.
So why should I say you have fallen? That means I have a stereotype in my mind that has put sins in categories. Whereas God says there is no difference. Any sin, anybody that knows what is right and is done is sin. Any kind of sin is a sin before God. But when you fought with your wife in the morning, I didn't say you fell. When you look at a church member, I even slap him. I didn't say you fell. When you beat your secretary up, or you scream, or you walk in anger or unforgiveness, I didn't say you fell. But when it's sex, then it's falling. What is that about?
You already give. I have to.
I think we have a call already. You respond later. Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Who is calling from where?
Yeah, this is calling from Spain.
Okay. Nice to hear your voice today.
Thank you. I really want to thank you, DSA, and for addressing this issue.
Just make sure you speak louder and speak into your microphone, into your telephone direct.
Okay.
Yeah, good now.
I said that, yes, DSA. I said I want to thank you for addressing this issue.
Yes.
Because there's no one that would have addressed it this way, if not for you.
Wow.
God know why He brought you to our way. God know why He brought you to come and rectify the issue of Christianity in Nigeria.
Wow.
I want to use this opportunity also to thank Brother Pastor Dr. Ojo.
Yes.
It take a mind of a confident man to stand with DSA to address issues. It takes a man of self-confidence, It takes a man of a lion's heart, I celebrate you, Dr. Ojo.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Dr. DSA, may God bless you for all this problem of Nigeria you have been addressing, and your heart for Nigeria. May the good Lord uphold you and strengthen you.
Amen.
For us.
Amen.
And I want this issue that we are talking about now, about sexual sin. I began to learn that from your teachings that anything that happens, it happens for a reason.
Yeah.
Whatsoever that happens to a man, whatsoever that happens, is for a purpose.
Yeah.
And that purpose is for God to take his glory at the end.
Yeah.
So, and because when what is happening to the might, because when you look at the Christendom in Nigeria, the Christian leaders, many of them, majority of them, they are falling, but they are not confident enough to stand and to tell the people that they are be calling them Papa, Mama, to tell them that I am not better than you.
Yes, yes.
The reason why they are not bold enough, they are not courage enough to tell the people, their followers, their members, that I am not better than you, just as Peter were saying that I am not greater than you.
Yes.
The reason why is that because of greed. They are greed for power. They are greed for wealth. They are greed for pleasure of the things of the world.
Yeah.
That is why they are not bold enough, they're not courageous enough to address the people that are calling them Papa, Mama, to tell them that, oh, no, don't do that. I'm not greater than you.
Yes.
Because if they do, these people that are being carried away in Nigeria, that are being drowned in religiosity and be comfortable in ignorance, they wouldn't have get to that extent.
Yeah.
It's so sad. Well, there was I wouldn't like to mention his name. When a great popular famous pastor, if he divorced he got divorced. You know,
yes.
When he divorced, is a Pastor Christ. I will mention his name. There's no need of hiding because this is a kingdom work. Is a Pastor Christ. When Pastor Christ divorced his wife, when they were now interviewing him and say, why did you got divorced? Why did this happen? He said that it's him that was caught, it's not his wife. Meaning he was using that just to cover, to put himself, to justify himself.
Yes.
And only God know what make, because whatsoever that make a woman to seek for divorce is not a childish play.
Yeah.
It's not a matter of money, because that woman never looked like somebody that lacked money. So maybe only God know what happened that made that woman to seek for divorce. But he never still addressed the issue for the people not to stop calling him, to remove the attention of people from him, for them to focus on God, on system that can make them to do better.
Yeah. You made your point, sister. Very strong point. Very strong point. The pastors in Nigeria need to let people know that they are ordinary human beings, and they should stop idolizing them. Thank you so much, because we still have other callers right now coming in, so it's very good point. Thank you, my sister. Blessings. We wanted to comment on.
Yes, sir. You say why do they use the word fall, right? You already gave one answer. One of my answers, and it is because, let's face it, I think maybe the Bible has also contributed to this. Maybe not the Bible, maybe the lack of proper understanding of the Bible. You know, when the Bible says that your body is the temple of God, and whosoever sins falls into sexual sins, has sinned against his body. So there is a way that sin has been categorized and classified.
Sexual, that is more, it looks more weighty.
Yeah, and then sexual sin looks more weighty.
But then you have to go back to what Jesus said about sexual sin.
Yeah, I know what Jesus said.
If you look, so if it is more weighty, and that is good enough to qualify somebody as falling.
So you see, proper, like I said,
then from look, we are already falling.
You've already fallen, yes.
But people don't do that.
People don't see that.
But personally, I think it's a wrong use of word. I think people you fall only when you fall from God. It is not sin. The emphasis shouldn't be on sin. It should be on cutting your relationship with God or turning your back on God. That is what makes you to have fallen.
Yeah.
Because you could still be in sin, any sin, including sexual sin, or including what Jesus said, look at somebody, and you are still having a relationship with God. Even the person who is falling in that sin could still be having a relationship with God. But you are saying he has fallen. Hello?
I have nothing else to say. Okay.
Yeah,
hello.
Do we have a caller? Hello?
Hello, DSD. Good day.
Good day. Who is calling from where?
I'm Theophilus. I'm calling from Dubai.
Okay, Theophilus, can you speak directly into your telephone and louder, because your voice is very thin now.
From there. Yeah, my name is Theophilus. I'm calling from Dubai.
Very nice to hear from you, Theophilus.
Yeah. I'm doing just that. Please, I just want to ask you a question.
Yes.
And I'm going to digress a little bit from what you guys are discussing.
Okay.
I have a colleague in my place of work, and he's a Catholic.
Yes.
And I'm trying to educate him on something, as regards to Catholic and
yes.
So he gave me I asked him some couple of questions which he cannot establish the answers.
Yes.
So he said to me that the church that Jesus established was a Catholic, was the Catholic Church.
Yes.
So I would like you to, elaborate on that. And also, he prays through the, rosary. They've exalted, Mother Mary, even more than Jesus, and so many other things.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the question I just want to ask.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. We will take note of that question, and I'm sure I know we ask it next time.
Subsequent time, okay, all right. Good. So I wanted to say that I agree with what you're saying, that to fall really is to fall out of touch with God. But I want to say another reason,
out of
relationship with God. But I want to say, I think another reason why people use the word fall, that pastor has fallen, is because there's a saying that says, he who something fears no fall. He who is on the ground fears no fall. Mm-hmm. So I think one of the reasons why they use the word fall for men of God is because of how the men of God they've elevated themselves. So because the man of God he has proved and he has boasted that he's a man of God, like what Pastor Chris says, that a man of God cannot sin. So imagine a pastor saying a man of God cannot sin, and then the man of God now sins, and now does that same sin, that the sexual sin that the whole world has put eyes on, that this is big sin. So you use the word fall for the man of God, because first is that he did that sin that they elevated as the main big sin, and then the second one that he's a man of God, and why will a man of God sin? So he has fallen because he is in a high pedestal. He has been placed in a high pedestal, so he fell to sin. But I agree with you that God looks at the heart, and it's about our relationship with God.
Maybe it is you who is saying somebody has fallen, who has really fallen out of relationship with God. Yes. And the person you are pointing accusing finger at that he has fallen, only God knows. Maybe he's even closer to God than you.
Yes. And I think also one of the things I think that the church has really messed up is the emphasis on sin. We've focused so much on sin that we don't even know that Jesus is not even in the picture.
As if Jesus never even killed.
Yes.
Hello?
DSA.
I think we have a caller.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello, DSA.
Yes, who is calling from where?
Good afternoon. Yeah, this is Martins from Lagos.
Wow, nice to hear from you, Martins.
How are you, sir?
Well, we're here trying our best, and I can't wait to get to Nigeria to join my hands with you people. Hello?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you. My brother in the studio, nice work, and I so much would love to contribute to this.
Speak closer to your device. Speak right into your device and louder, please.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Better.
Yes. Yes, I'm doing it. I'm doing exactly that.
Okay.
My network is.
Go ahead. We're hearing you. Go ahead.
Hello.
Go ahead. We're hearing you.
Okay. First of all, I don't think it is just about them falling, because in as much as they have lied from day one and they have centered the gospel to that of Mammon, they have already fallen. It's just a matter of time.
That is the point I'm making. You see, they have already fallen long time.
It's just a matter of time. You see, and time, DSA, I've always been telling you this. Time is the virtue you have on your side to point out a whole lot of atrocities that these people have caused on the society through false doctrine. We are now seeing the whole thing. It shouldn't be as a surprise. It shouldn't, because you can't hide things, you can't hide the truth, no matter how you try to cover it.
Yeah.
This is something that they think they can outplay. You can't outplay God's deeds or you can't outplay God himself because you think you are smart enough. Now their hand, they go take the shoot themselves one by one. That is the bitter truth, DSA.
Wow.
And the worst aspect is we are now seeing it disgracefully. And it is so glaring that anybody that is now seeing it and decide to still remain in such congregation, then I think that person has a case to settle with God, because the truth is now staring everybody in the eyes.
Right.
You can't defend it anymore. You can't. So there's it is just laughable. There is this popular writer that says the Bible is so simple, sometimes you need a pastor to confuse you. Yes.
Help you misunderstand it.
It's so simple. God says, for God so loved the world. John 3:16 is the most simple explanatory scriptures that anybody can meditate on and get the truth. What is the truth? God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. That is the emphasis, the only begotten son, not a preacher coming up to preach and start telling you. With time that
yeah, I think it's network.
I think it's network. Nigeria.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pastor.
Do we still have callers?
We still have one
more.
Yeah.
Okay.
What he said is true, just like what you were saying too, is that because we've compartmentalized sin and categorized it. I mean, someone who is serving Mammon,
he has already fallen, but we don't call him fallen.
Oh, we don't say he has fallen. Yes.
And there is no bigger fall than that one.
Than serving,
we are serving another
God.
And we are still celebrating them.
Yes, we're still saying they are heroes.
Yes, and the one that is caught in sin, in sex, we say that one is the one who has fallen. But the ones who are living in fallen condition. Hello?
Yeah, hello. Good afternoon, DSC.
Good afternoon, my sister. Who is calling from where?
Victoria from Nigeria.
Victoria from Nigeria. You are the one who called yesterday night.
Yes, sir.
And you are the one I'm going to have tonight as well.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow, yes. Okay.
Yeah, okay, yeah, DSC, I just wanted to ask this question because I had an experience with my pastor when I was still in RCCG. So what would you advise ladies who have their pastors throwing advances at them?
Who does what?
Like the pastor. Yeah, I'm talking about ladies that their pastors are the ones throwing the advances.
Pastors throw advances?
Yes, are the ladies.
Okay.
Like in that kind of a situation whereby it's not like the pastor is just like maybe vulnerable because there's been a lot of confiding. But in this situation whereby the pastor is the one, going after the girls, and
yes.
So what would you advise the ladies, the victims to do? Do you think they should report or pray or something? So
no,
because in my own case,
yes.
I had to leave the church. I had to leave that church because I was a singer, and then I just couldn't understand the way he comes on the altar. And then when I see the private messages he was sending me, it was a bit embarrassing to me. So I just had to just leave that system.
Oh, so what I would advise the ladies is definitely, when you see somebody do that, and it's your pastor, if you cannot, I think in Africa it's different, but in this part of the world, you should be able to initiate a discussion, a talk with this pastor, and be able to say, Pastor, let us talk about this. And be able to say, it's a sin, and he will be embarrassed, and he will probably ask for forgiveness. But if he's not asking for forgiveness, then you just turn your back and leave. But if you cannot face up to him, and you cannot initiate a discussion, the best thing to do is to turn around and leave that church. Because a boundary has been crossed.
Yeah.
Or you can report him, or you could report him to his elder pastor, or to his senior pastor.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, DSC.
Yep. Yeah. So are you sure it's tonight? It's not tonight?
No, it's tomorrow night.
Because the impression that I got is that it's tonight. Please write my assistant that wrote you before.
Yeah. Okay.
So just make sure. Just to make sure.
Okay.
God bless.
Okay.
Bye. Yeah.
Just a follow-up question on that. So now, if a lady is receiving those advances from the pastor and she goes away, there's a likelihood that she's not the only one who is getting there.
Yeah.
So going away and not saying anything about it, wouldn't it?
But if you go away, then that will even give you more freedom and more liberty and confidence to talk about it later on.
Okay.
To either another authority or to his authority. But first of all, go away.
You have to first go away.
First of all, go away so that you go away from under his influence and under his authority.
Then you can...
Yeah, then you can go and report after that.
Yeah, because I think it's good that you report, though. So that...
Yeah, it's one of the options that I mentioned.
Yes, it's good if you do that.
I think we have to end this thing now.
Well...
Time has I think almost 2 hours.
Almost 2 hours. For something we went this for 1 hour. But I think it's a discussion that needs to be raised. Yeah. And something that I like about you is that, and I thank God for an opportunity like this, because these things are happening and most people are reacting to it. We're not having...
Without understanding.
Yeah, without understanding. They're just reacting. Some people are mad. Some people are raising curses. Some people are just, emotional about it. But, it's great to have an opportunity to have discussions about it where there is light, Where there is light, darkness is gone. When there's understanding, people can do better. People can act better. So, I'm grateful for an opportunity like this for us to, this is close to 2 hours speaking on the subject of why do pastors fall into sexual sins? And I want to believe that this should be one of your maybe most viewed.
You think so?
Hopefully, because this is something that...
normally people don't come to ask now.
Yeah, but it's something that people need answers to.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I hope they will get it, because when the message was sent out, I think
it was a difference. But hopefully, I think our viewers can also help in sharing this message by, click the share button, share it to your friends, share it to your family, your relatives. Perhaps today's discussion might also bring light and understanding to them. So thank you for being with us on the Ask Dr. Sandey show. This started as the normal ask, but it metamorphosed into an important discussion on the matter of sexual sins with pastors and ministry. So thank you so much for being with us. It was a great time together, and we look forward to seeing you in maybe 3 hours for the next show with Dr. Sandey. That's by 7 p.m. Ukraine time, 6 p.m. European time, and 5 p.m. UK time. Thank you so much for being with us, Dr. Sandey.
Yes, I just want to use this opportunity to invite all of you for the next History Makers training that is coming up in Kyiv, Ukraine, from the 8th to the 12th of April. So if you want to come to learn how to build systems how to build structures to resolve every problem and to solve every problem and to achieve any goal. It is system that enables you to achieve any goal and to resolve our problems. We are going to be talking about that in April from the 8th to the 12th. Go and register on sundayadelajablog.com/HMT, History Makers Training, or write to hmt@godembassy.org. So see you later tonight. Peace.